I'm in a 2012 Hyundai Elantra, and I'm using my auxiliary cable, and there's a little bit of a whine in the background. Don't know if you can really pick it up in the video. There's a whine. You can hear all the little beeping coming from the speakers. This is a ground loop issue. A lot of people who've done aftermarket radios have an understanding of what this is. I'll throw up kind of how the auxiliary port works, but basically the ground connection is not doing a very good job. You can see I can actually make this go away by just pushing on the port. So literally the metal on the plug is not touching the metal in the receptacle as well as it should be. Sorry, I hate this car. It's awful. The XM radio switches over every time. I've looked into upgrading the firmware so I can disable XM. If I can convince the car it's in Mexico or Canada, it won't even have the XM as an option. But anyway, I'm looking into the best ways to solve this problem. Right now, literally the best I've come up with is to find something approximately the size of that gap right there and literally just jam it in. One other option I've tried here, and it did seem to improve the problem slightly, was I took a Q-tip, I took the end off of it, I dipped that in some isopropyl alcohol, and I jammed it down in there. My assumption was that the contact was bad, not because things had bent, but because there was an accumulation of dirt in that port, which kind of makes sense because the port is tilted backwards. It's not flat facing, it's reclined, which again lets more dirt fall into that hole. When I did that, the Q-tip came out pretty dirty, but the problem still remained. Another unique thing I found is when I physically connect the auxiliary wire to my phone, I get that hiss. But if I also plug in a USB charging cable in that USB port and run it to my phone, I end up grounding the phone and the sound goes away. It's an interesting little experiment, but that's not going to work because in this situation I'm trying to use a wireless Bluetooth receiver I bought on Amazon. It's hilarious, this car actually has Bluetooth, but it is so horrible that I went out and bought a $20 Bluetooth adapter that does better than Hyundai could. The problem with the Bluetooth in this car is you stop to pump gas, you stop to get groceries, anything you do, you shut off the car, turn it back on, Bluetooth isn't connected, it switches back to XM. It's some of the worst design I've ever seen around. I think it makes sense that XM would be involved in this. XM would try to push their radio system and say, let's just keep switching back to XM. But I don't even think they're that competent to do that intentionally. I have to think it's just garbage entertainment systems. So with that, I'm out. Hopefully this helps you solve your audio quality issues in your Hyundai.